So here's the single best way to building muscle, right? Anyways, look, my name is Muhammad, and I've been training for over 3 years now, consistently, and I've made some good progress, right? And like, I've made some like lots of mistakes too. Anyways, I'm not the most shredded, I'm not the most muscular, but like, I've made some good progress, and like, that's what matters, right? Anyways, what's the single best way to building muscles? It's pretty simple, and it consists of three things, okay, that you do together, right? There's the diet, the training, and then ultimately the consistency, because like, right? Anyways, look, let's start with the diet. And now for the diet, it's pretty simple, okay? Look, and this is applicable to you if you're not fat, okay? If you're fat or like chubby or whatever, you got some work to do before doing this, right? Because bro, the single best way to build muscle is what? Is by bulking. And what's bulking? Bulking is basically eating more to the point that you're gaining weight slowly while training so you can build muscle, right? So you're gonna be bulking as that's like the single best way to build muscle plus the training and all, right? But if you're currently at a higher body fat percentage, like you're kind of fat, you will not be bulking. You can bulk a bit later, right? For now, if you're kind of fat or chubby, you go on a cut first. Get rid of the excess fat and all, and then you can start bulking. Anyways, bulking. I know so many of you might think, bulking is bad because, like, whatever you heard, like, it keeps like going around, right? That bulking is bad, only makes you fat. But that's if you do it the wrong way. What's like, the way to do bulking the correct way? It's basically lean bulking. And now, lean bulking is basically eating more to the point that you're gaining weight slowly while training and all, right? This way you're maximizing muscle gain and minimizing fat gain, right? That's why you gain the weight slowly. If you gain it fast, you're gonna get like you're gonna gain so much fat, right? Anyways, look, how fast should you gain the weight, right? Because gaining the weight's like the factor that decides everything, right? My advice to you is to like gain 1 to 2 kilograms a month, not a week. Don't get like I'm gonna gain 1 kilogram each week. No, you're not gonna do that. Don't do that. This way, in like a couple of months, you will have gained so much fat. You're not gonna do that. What you're gonna do is gain 1 to 2 kilograms a month on the bulk. Okay, 1 to 2 kilograms, 2 to 4 pounds a month. Okay, and then after that, that's the diet. Pretty simple and all. And now the training. And this part is like, what makes it or breaks it. Because if you only eat more and gain weight, you're just going to get fat, right? But training is like, what helps you build the muscle, obviously. So for the training, there's three things inside the training, okay? First two, volume and intensity. For the volume, it's basically like, how many sets you do, right? Per week and all. For each muscle, you don't want to be doing too much, volume, like too many sets. Don't do that. And you also don't want to be doing too little, right? The way is to do moderate, okay? Nothing too high, nothing too low. I know you might, be like, and bro, I know that you might have heard about, the low volume training style. No, don't do that. I personally fell for it and I wasted so much time. Please take my words and trust me, don't fall for it. Okay? So now, what you're going to be doing is moderate amount of volume. Nothing too high, nothing too little, just moderate with the volume. Okay? And then the intensity. It's basically how hard you go in each set. The way with it is just to go to failure every single time. Yes, I'm saying it. Your nervous system, the studies, the meta-analysis. Bro, shut up. Bro, look. The way with intensity, you're gonna be going. Bro, with intensity, you're going to be going to failure on every single set. That's simple. Intensity, go to failure on every single set. Trust me. Okay? And then progressive overload, that's the last thing for the training. How do you do like progressive overload properly? It's basically the system where to know when should you increase the weight, when you should increase everything, right? So look, when it comes to progressive overload, you must have to, like you must stick to a rep range in all of your exercises, okay? For example, my rep range is like 8 till 15 reps. right? So you're going to choose a weight you can do 8 reps with at the start, right? And now every week try to push yourself harder so that in that same exercise you can do more reps. So like as your first time doing this exercise, you could do 5 kilograms, let's say bicep curls, right? Dumbbell bicep curls. You're doing 5 kilograms for 8 reps, right? Next session, try to do 9, or like next week, 9. The one after it, 10. Again, until you hit 15 reps. When you hit 15 reps with that, 5 kilogram dumbbell, that same weight, when you hit 15 reps, then you can increase the weight. So you're going to go to like 7.5 kilograms. Okay, and now you're going to be finding yourself able to do 8 reps. And you go from 8, 9, 10 until you hit 15 again, and then increase the weight. And now just apply this to all of your exercises. And bro, that's a system to know like when you should exactly like, increase the weight and all. Just every session, push harder than last time. And like when you hit 15 reps or like, whatever your rep range end is, increase the weight, right? And then consistency. Okay, that's diet, that's training, done. Now the consistency. Consistency is literally like, the foundation of all of this. Because like if you're not consistent, it doesn't even matter. Because like you can't even stick to it, right? So with the consistency, my best advice to you, and this is the advice I give in like all of my videos now, is to fun max. Fun maxing is basically, to make this whole thing, your whole fitness journey, as fun as possible according to you. What you think is like the most fun, like the most fun exercise, the most fun eating foods, the most like the most fun diet to you. Obviously, like don't go like against your goals, but like do it in a way that you like it. Eat the foods that you like. Train in the style that you like. Maybe you like this exercise more than this. Do that one. Find your own style with all of this and fun max it according to you. I don't know how you can, but like I think, bro, you know yourself, right? Make this whole thing as fun as possible according to you. What you like the most and you feel like would be better, right? Plus, like, take my advice that I gave you, like, with the volume, intensity, and all. But, like, make it as fun as possible according to you, right? Like, add your pinch of salt to it, right? And anyways, I've recently launched Muhammad's Empire, which is basically, my premium community, where you get, my low-key jacked course, you get my personal methods, everything, and then you also get more access to me, to ask me questions, and all of that. It's like community, okay? If you're interested, that's the first link in the description, and other than that, like, subscribe, everything. See you in the next one, brother. Thank you for watching.